This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a car. It's the two-door coupe that was there for your first drive. The hatchback that took you cross-country and back. And the minivan that tackles the weekly carpool. For the cars you couldn't live without, trust Amica Auto Insurance. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
Join the Power Trip, Zach Halverson, tonight at Wild Bill's in Woodbury for our final regular season Bud Light Wild Watch Party. Be there at 6 p.m. to watch your Wild in action and to sign up for your chance to qualify for first-round playoff tickets this year. Get the full details now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 pass Common Man program. Hey, Chris Paddock just gave up another home run. Wouldn't you know?
9-0.
Michael A. Taylor, we didn't need him.
Yeah.
He could have been on our club. He could have hit that 2-run homer for us, which would have made it 7-2 rather than 9-0. Did I read it right about Paddock? I just went back to Fish Wrap Factory West Side, but didn't have enough time to scroll through all the stories. The latest Chris Paddock story was just a couple of days, I think, before the season started. He didn't have Tommy John surgery on both arms, did he? That's what I thought I read. I must be making that up. But the quotes were, he's never felt better.
I hope he didn't have it at the same time.
Yeah, well, let's hope not. He said, and maybe he does. And again, maybe he does feel better than he ever has physically before. But he was so excited about the upcoming season. And one start does not a season make. We get that. But he's just getting tattooed. I mean, that is third or fourth home run he's given up today. It's 9-0 White Sox.
I think third.
Yeah,
2 3-run bombs, and then that one was a 2-run.
In that 2-run, yeah, that's correct. And the 2-run home run. By the way, we're broadcasting live from the climate-controlled 651 Carpets Plus studio. So it just hasn't gone well for your Twins at all. The Torpedo bat story is interesting.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. It says... I'm reading from a CNN sports story. Baseball season is back, and it didn't take long for the New York Yankees to start crushing records and dominating conversation. At the center of it all is the Torpedo bat. Bronx Bombers tied a Major League Baseball record as they hit 15 home runs in their opening 3-game series, including a franchise record 9 in their 20-9 rout over Milwaukee on Saturday. Here's all you need to know about the Torpedo bats that everybody's talking about. The Torpedo bat, so named due to its shape resembling a torpedo, is a customized bat that tailors the barrel for each hitter. Gone is the standard swell of the bat as it's replaced with more wood in the barrel shifted closer to the hands. It's all about locating the hitter's so-called sweet spot and moving more wood to that area. And because every hitter's sweet spot is different, so too is their Torpedo bat. The Yankees analytics department looked at every player's hitting data so that the widest part of the bat or the barrel could be placed where they most often hit the ball. invented by some MIT grad that was working with the Yankees, came up with the concept, right? It's perfectly legal. I read another story, and I don't think I have. I thought I'd save that one. Yeah, the torpedo bat was developed by MIT physicist Aaron Lenny Lenhart when he was an analyst in the Yankees organization. He said the idea was driven by the players as he noticed a common concern voiced from batters who wanted to make more and better contact with pitches. He told The Athletic, it's just about making the bat as heavy and as fat as possible in the area where you're trying to do damage to the baseball. That's the original concept. Just try to make all that excess weight and try to put it where you're trying to hit the ball. And then in exchange, try to take the thinner diameter that used to be at the sweet spot and put that on the tip. Apparently it's legal too, Tennessee. I read here it is.
That's what surprised me.
Well, here it is. Why are they allowed? MLB's bat regulations are fairly lax. The torpedo bats remain legal so long as they follow MLB Rule 3.02, which states the bat shall be a smooth, round stick, not more than 2.61 inches in diameter at the thickest part, and not more than 42 inches in length. The bat shall be one piece of solid wood. The rule further specifies that experimental bats cannot be used until the manufacturer has secured approval from Major League Baseball and his design and methods of manufacture. So unless anything has changed in the ML rulebook, the bats look like they are here to stay. I think it was Correa was quoted, the Fish Rat Factory, either that or The Athletic, today or yesterday, said he's not going to try one. He's not sold on the idea. Several people have texted.
And he's an analytics guy.
And he is an analytics guy. Several people have texted me to tell me that Jeffers uses one. His torpedo is not exploding. It's 0 for 9 in Jeffers at-bats. To me,
the thing is you still got to make contact with the bat.
Well, that is correct. Here's what I find interesting, though. It's like, we've been playing baseball. When did Naismith invent the game? I mean, they've been playing since the late 1800s, haven't they? So we've been, 150, how many years has baseball been around? And it's taken this long for someone to go, maybe we might want to just change the shape of the bat.
They formed in 1876 and 1901, respectively.
All right.
Agreement in 1980, the national agreement in 1903 made MLB the oldest major professional sports league in the world.
Okay. So let's just go with the 1903 thing. So that's 2000.
Buck 22.
Yeah, buck 22. It's taken that long for someone to go, maybe if we made the bat fatter in a certain part of the bat where the people hit the ball more often. Now, it is possible it's just because the Yankees have a payroll of like $300 million and they have some of the best hitters in baseball, including Aaron Judge. They just hit the ball better.
And Judge isn't using those bats, by the way. He's on fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it might not have.
If I was Aaron Judge, I wouldn't use those bats either. He's been very successful.
They could probably do it with a broomstick, right? But I just find it amazing that and maybe people have tried. Well, they have tried to reconfigure the bat. They tried to cork it, which is illegal. So they have done that.
Well, it's got me to thinking now, and I'm sure this has already been thought of. Are we sure we're using the right type of wood with our bats? Right? Is it oak? Is it maple? Is it mahogany?
I think.
Is it walnut? Like what? Maybe there's a better type of wood out there that'll make the ball spring a little bit more off the bat.
Because I think aren't bats made of ash? I think baseball bats are made out of ash. Why don't you look that up? I'm almost certain of that. I'm going to go with that anyways.
It said the most common woods used for baseball bats are maple, ash, and birch.
Oh.
With maple being the most popular choice for Major League Baseball players.
Oh, okay. So maple is the most popular.
Well, and then I said somewhere else, most wooden bats are made from ash. Yeah. Other woods include maple, hickory, and bamboo.
Yeah.
See, I got the AI answer first, and that wasn't the way to go.
Right. Yeah, sometimes I wonder about AI. But nonetheless, it's taken this long for someone to come up with an idea. And, and again, the early returns are it's working, at least for the Yankees. Now, whether other players pick up on it or not remains to be seen. Well, the whole sport, I mean, every sport has had technological advances that have helped it, right? I mean, you look over the years, and I mean, for instance, there was a time 10 to be years ago, and I know you're probably aware of this. There was no such thing as a curved stick in hockey. I don't know if this is an old wives' tale or if this is the truth, the whole truth, or some semblance of the truth. I've always been under the understanding that the curved stick was created by Stan Mikita, formerly the Chicago Blackhawks. That he somehow, the blade of his stick got curved, he used it, and it worked, and they started curving them under the door of the locker room. Have you ever heard that?
Sure.
I mean, have you heard that Stan Mikita was?
I think you said it, yeah.
Yes. Now, whether that's true or not, but that was an advance that completely changed the game. Because before, when you just had a straight stick, hockey, if I'm not mistaken, was basically, the puck was basically at ice level almost all the time. With a straight stick, you really can't get any elevation on it. It's you can't you can't shoot the puck that like you do now. And that was just accidentally discovered by, I think, Stan Mikita, the Chicago Blackhawks. Are you Googling it right now?
No, I was looking something else for something I wanted to talk about.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Well, because there's a hockey stick maker called Elevate Hockey that gave me a stick of theirs, man, was it like 5 years ago?
Okay.
4 or 5 years ago, where the shaft is curved. Right? You're talking about the blade being curved.
Correct.
This one was actually where the shaft was not straight. It was curved.
Where was it curved?
It was kind of like a little bit of like a letter S. If you looked straight down on it, it curved to the left a little bit, and then in the middle it curved to the right, or maybe it's the other way around. And the whole point of it was they were trying to get them legal at the time. I don't know. I haven't seen since, because I haven't seen it really come out at all, if they've made it so it's legal. But it's supposed to give you a harder shot. You can shoot the puck harder. And I actually tried one, because like I said, they gave it to me. I tried one in a men's league game. And it was hard for me to get used to, given I'd played with a straight shaft my entire life. So maybe the argument for them was, well, if kids start with that stick to begin with, they won't know any different and will benefit from the curve. But that, when you're talking about the torpedo bat and the straight stick turning into curved stick, that's what I first thought of, was that there's a curved shaft in a hockey stick in the shaft. I asked Grok AI who invented the curved blade on a hockey stick. The invention of the curved blade on a hockey stick is credited to Stan Mikita, a legendary NHL player, along with his teammate Bobby Hull, both of whom played for the Blackhawks in the 60s. The story goes Mikita accidentally bent his stick blade during a practice session when it got stuck in the boards or caught on something. He noticed the curved shape gave his shot more speed, spin, and unpredictability, making it harder for goaltenders to stop the puck. Mikita began experimenting with the curve, heating the wooden blades to bend them intentionally, and Hull followed suit. This innovation caught on quickly in the NHL, revolutionizing the game. Before this, hockey blades were mostly flat. The curved blade allowed for better puck control and more powerful, deceptive shots like the slap shot, which Hull became famous for. While Mikita is often given primary credit for the discovery, some attribute earlier experimentation to players like Andy Bathgate of the Rangers, who reportedly curved his blade slightly in the late 50s. However, Mikita and Hull popularized the trend. By 63, the NHL even introduced rules to limit the degree of curvature. Initially set at 1 inch, later adjusted due to the advantage it provided. So while it started as a happy accident, Mikita and Hull are the names most tied to this game-changing invention. That's according to the Common Man and Gronk AI. We'll break, come back. Controversial Vikings news other side of the break on the Common Man program here on The Fan.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a car or a house. It's the four wheels that get you where you're going and the four walls that welcome you home. When you combine auto and home insurance with Amica, we'll help protect it all. And the more you cover, the more you can save. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
Couple 13, 14 pass Common Man program. I like rumor. I like innuendo. I like controversy. I like dirt, scandal. Here's a text message that would lead to that, Tenneby. This says, this came at a little before 2 o'clock. I'm always a little bit behind on the text messages because they come in at such a rapid rate during the Common Man program. It's hard to read them all while they're coming in real time. This one says, intrepid report.
It's hard for texting screener guy to have to decipher through all of them.
Exactly right. And then feed me the ones I want. And sometimes there can be a disagreement. It says, intrepid reporter Barney the Purple Dinosaur had KOC on today and did not ask a single question about Aaron Rodgers.
Well, he's convinced that's a non-story.
Yeah. Well, that was, you heard about the brouhaha when you were gone, didn't you? I didn't hear it, but it was, I think it was, not Gessling, but, God, I'm so bad with names. Alec Lewis was on, I think, with PA.
I did not hear about this.
And he said, Alec Lewis said, my sources say the Vikings were talking to Rodgers. And PA said, well, my sources say they weren't, and my sources are better than yours.
Why you said that?
Something to that effect, yeah. And then, so it actually was getting a little testy. Well, they're pals, but it made apparently for good radio. And of course, it came out that no, they did talk to Aaron Rodgers. So, and apparently, if I'm not mistaken, somebody told me that PA stuck to his guns anyways, even after it was admitted to by Kwesi that no, we did talk to Aaron Rodgers. And my theory is Barney's been anti-Rodgers forever, right? Because he's Packer quarterback, and so to have to, it would be quite a turnabout for him to start idolizing and pedestalizing Aaron Rodgers after calling him nothing but a big box score his entire career, right? That's quite the pivot you got to make. But trust me, he'll do it if Aaron signs and Aaron gets off to a nice start. He'll be all in at that point. You have to be, right? At that, I don't think he's going to criticize that. But, yeah, that is the... hey, Paddock got out of the fourth without any trouble today.
Do you believe in miracles?
No, it's.
Oh, no, they're pulling him.
Oh, okay.
The runner on first with one out.
Oh, that's what happened. I saw him headed to the dugout. I thought he got out of the inning without giving up any more runs. They've decided they've seen enough of Chris Paddock today.
Well, speaking of rise as one, that's what happens to our bullpen in the third inning of games. They all rise as one to get up and warm up. It's just early in the season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We got a lot of season left. We're coming.
We have all sorts of, it is amazing. You talk Aaron Rodgers, you can get people going.
Oh, yeah.
This one says, there would be a backup if they intended to go forward with JJ. And there's some truth to that, right? Tend to be right. Sam Darnold signed elsewhere, as did Nick Mullins. Right now, our backup is for $500. Can you name the Vikings backup? I can't remember his name.
Still that? Is Brett Rippon still on the roster?
Brett Rippon. So
let's start ripping.
So I mean, again, I guess Oda's in mini camps and preseason is still quite a ways off. But you would think you would have tried to pick up somebody, right? If you really weren't even still sort of considering Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to go into the season with J.J. McCarthy as the starter and Brett Rippon as the backup. There's no way, right? So could that be?
While I was gone, I thought I saw there was a Ryan Tannehill note that they talked to Ryan Tannehill.
Yes, or at least that was the speculation. Whether I don't know if the Vikings came out and said they talked to Tannehill.
Tannehill would make sense.
It would make sense. But you don't have to have a veteran backup signed today because the season doesn't start for quite some time. But it still seems like you would move on that sooner rather than later so you sort of get the pick of the litter, right? Because of the veteran free agent quarterbacks that are available, there ain't a lot of guys you go, boy, it's going to be nice to have him. Boy, if our first stringer gets knocked out, I have all the confidence in the world in Ryan Tannehill or whoever that might be. You got Tannehill, you got Flacco, and a handful of others. So here's another one that says, why does nobody talk about the Jets having the 31st ranked offensive line last year when talking about Rodgers' play? The Vikings' offensive line will be a strength. How did Mahomes look in the big game with no time to throw? That is another thing in favor of Rodgers, if indeed his offensive line was ranked 31st. I was not aware of that. That would... And the Mahomes example is a really good one, as is just the Vikings against the Rams. The Vikings, that's why they rebuilt the inside of their offensive line. Whether it works or not, we don't know. But Darnold, certainly he was most of the issues in the Detroit game, right? He had some time to throw, and when he did he miss Jefferson like 4 different times in the end zone? I mean, it was bad, right? But in the game against the Rams, he wasn't given much time to throw. As a matter of fact, I think the Rams, did they tie an NFL postseason record with 9 sacks? Count them. That's not giving a quarterback much of a chance to succeed. And if Rodgers indeed was playing in front of the 31st ranked offensive line, that could probably have something to do with his mediocre, I guess, performance at best. Here's one that says, I'd rather go 0-17 than have Rodgers. Not because of Green Bay, just because he's a Richard. And, maybe I should hang on to that text message. Because if here's what I'll tell you, Tennessee. If the Vikings did go ahead and get Rodgers, and they're like 12-2 through week 15, and they've clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs, every Viking fan will be, boy, I love Aaron Rodgers. Just so glad we have him. Here's one. Common, the worst thing that could happen is that Rodgers looks okay this year, making people want to bring him back. Then we get rid of JJ after next year, and Rodgers implodes, and we're left with nothing. Also, Rodgers is toxic. It has nothing to do with him playing for Green Bay. It has way more to do with his political and vaccination views. I don't agree with most people's political views, whether you're right or left. I think that's our biggest issues. We have too many people too far left and too many people too far right. vaccination views, you can believe what you want. But I think most people separate those when it comes to just what the guy's doing in his work on the football field, right? I don't. This person might say, Rodgers, it has nothing to do with playing for Green Bay, because that was my opinion. I said most Viking fans want nothing to do with Rodgers because A, he's a Richard, and B, he played for Green Bay. He's saying because of political and vaccination views. There might be some people.
I was going to say, I think there's some of that out there. It's hard to deny that in today's political climate.
Correct.
But there's also the people out there that think the only reason he's hated is because of that. And
yeah, I don't believe
Aaron Rodgers was not well liked before his immunizations comment and the rumors of him being vice president for RFK correct. Came out. It's not like he was some lovable guy that those comments came out and people changed their opinions on him.
Common, it's not a hatred for Rodgers because he played for the Packers. It's a hatred because the guy is selfish, arrogant, he's drama, and he's a major distraction. There's a reason that Green Bay didn't want him anymore. There's a reason the Jets didn't want him anymore. Here's a question for you to pose to your listeners. Would you want to win a big game next year from an Aaron Rodgers at quarterback position? Would you rather not win one with J.J. McCarthy? I'm sorry, but my hatred for him is so strong, I would rather not win one with J.J.
Wow. He's not Osama bin Laden.
I don't think. I mean, he's not even Uday and Qusay Hussein, for crying out loud.
I get not liking the guy, right? But that's a little extreme in my eyes.
I think it is. That's me. And the other one, getting back just real quick before we go to break, the one that said, hold on, the last one, when we were before, they said, the worst thing that happens is Rodgers looks okay this year, making people want to bring him back. We get rid of They're not going to get rid of JJ and bring back. The Aaron Rodgers thing, I believe, is a one-year experiment, unless he was brilliant. We get into the playoffs, lose in the playoffs. It doesn't look like he's lost a step and they want to run it back. But it's not like they would go, Rodgers was really good. He's our quarterback for the next 10 years. Let's part ways with Jay. They're not going to part ways.
Yeah, we don't need a quarterback in the future anymore.
No, they're not going to part ways with J.J. McCarthy. That won't happen. Short break, one more segment to go. The Common Man program along with Tennessee here on The Fan.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a car. It's the two-door coupe that was there for your first drive. The hatchback that took you cross-country and back. And the minivan that tackles the weekly carpool. For the cars you couldn't live without, trust Amica Auto Insurance. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you. Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Oh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. I'm Common. He's 10 to B. Well, let's play Guess Who the 3 o'clock host is today. Do we know who it is? Barrero's out.
I thought I saw Sinekin at some point. But
So Sinekin would be, again, he was here Friday as well. And, of course, I said Dan Barrero and JG are next, right, or whatever the case may be. I walk out into the hall, and I see that it's Sinekin. So I immediately rip Chad Abbott. I go, it'd be nice if Abbott would tell me who's filling in. And then Dave Sinekin said, well, it's on the schedule, which I've never looked at the schedule, because all I'm worried about is when I'm on. I don't need to know when who's in for Barrero, who's in for the morning show, what game is coming on. So, and of course, I just couldn't wait to lay into Abbott, though. Apparently, he did have it on the.
It is on the schedule. Look at that.
Who is it today?
It's Dave Sinekin.
It is Dave Sinekin today.
And then tomorrow and Friday, it's Justin Gard live from the Final Four in San Antonio.
Parker Fox, I thought I saw that he's in one day.
Well, he was in yesterday.
Oh, was that yesterday?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong day. Today's Sinekin.
Okay.
Parker Fox tomorrow. Sinekin again on Wednesday.
Okay.
Justin Gard Thursday, Friday, live from the Final Four.
Live from the Final Four. We call that Radio Row at the Final.
And obviously, today and Wednesday, it's shortened shows because we have Wild games at 6 o'clock both nights.
Did you watch any of the Houston Open? I don't suppose you were traveling. Did you come back yesterday?
Came back. Well, we took a red eye Saturday night.
Okay.
And then, it came back yesterday at 2:30ish. My
new favorite player is Min-Woo Lee.
I saw that.
He's my new favorite player. He won yesterday, but not without. I mean, he had.
Why do they boo him though after he makes shots?
Makes no sense to me. He at one time had like a 5 or 6 shot lead, and that just slowly but surely kept slipping away. And not so much because of his play, but because of the number 1 ranked player in the world, Scotty Scheffler, went on 5 birdies in a row? He went on like a 5 birdie binge. Ended up losing by only a shot. Lee ended up just off the green and back on 18 on the 72nd hole. He decided to putt because it didn't roll all the way to the bottom. It just hung up just enough, and he lagged it up to about literally 2 inches. You know what the best part was when it came time for him to finish? He did the old, when the players walk down the line and put their feet like this? So he stood over.
He was in the aim point.
Yeah, he did aim point from 2 inches away, and of course the gallery laughs and he smiled. Yeah, and then he went ahead and he tapped in. But there was controversy. Have you heard about the way the writer put it in the golf.com story was, you've heard of icing the kicker? How about icing the contender? Do you know the controversy that happened?
I read a tweet about it.
What happened was the Toasty guy, I think his name is Alejandro Toasty, was playing with Min-Woo Lee. And he became bitter and complained to a rules official about Lee's pace of play. Lee needed a rules. He needed a ruling on the right side of the fairway on hole number 8. He wanted to know what his options were. He elected to take an unplayable from a bush on the side of the 8th hole, receiving a 1-shot penalty, and he still made par, right? Toasty, however, I'm reading from the Golf Story, took issue with the amount of time it took Lee to figure out the ruling, complaining to a rules official about Lee's pace of play. How long do you think it took Lee and the group to play that hole, Tenneby? How much time was too much time? Or have you already read this?
Well, I saw a Twitter graphic showing someone taking 30 minutes on a hole.
It took 30 minutes.
Which is bonkers.
So
You're for him?
I'm for Toasty. Now, the way he went about it was he started like walking. He started slow playing because he was bitter.
Yeah.
Because nobody did anything about it. It seems as though the broadcast crew was more on Lee's side. Look at young kid trying to win his first PGA championship. But these are the same announcers that I think it was Dottie Pepper back in January. Became very bitter about pace of play. It was taking 5.5 hours to play the first tournament they played at Torrey Pines. Remember, they had to play 2 at Torrey Pines because the fires in L.A. forced the Riviera tournament to be moved. So it was the first time they played Torrey Pines this year. And it was just like, it's a travesty. You can't do this. And everybody was, yes, you got to pick up the pace of play. Now they're defending a guy that took a half hour to play a hole and doing it because, well, he's young and he's trying to win his first PGA Tour. That has nothing to do with it. I mean, it's obvious he could have walked up there and said, bring the rules official over. What are my choices? Drop. He ended up taking a drop. He should have taken a drop right away. Drop the ball, hit the ball, make your par. And he's my favorite player. I love watching him play. He is so good at all phases of the game. And he can hit the ball a country mile. He hits it further than just about anybody. The one thing, though, is the last paragraph of the story says, Tosti, a 28-year-old Argentinian pro, has had an unusual history of controversy at this event and in pro golf. In 2024, he and fellow competitor Tony Finau got into an argument over the playing order. In 2023, after securing his PGA Tour status, Tosti was kicked out of the Korn Ferry Tour's Boise Open for a, quote, disciplinary matter. Now, I don't know what that was. It doesn't go on to explain what his disciplinary matter is. So it seems like Tosti's got a bit of an attitude. Or He gets hot. But a half hour to play a hole.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's...
So what happened? Was he bringing some, like a rules official over?
He must have. I don't think this was the same hole I watched, because he had another ruling. There had been rain, okay? I think at a couple of different times during the event. Anyways, his ball was over in the left, I would say hit it in the fairway. And this course is like, again, it's a long course. It's 7,600 yards, well protected with bunkers. But the fairways are as wide as the state of Wyoming, and there's not much rough, and there's not much trouble. You can hit it 3 fairways over and still get to the green, right? But he's sitting on a tire track from one of the maintenance cars, right? Of course, he's looking for, this is what golf is funny. He wants to get a ruling to see, and they bring rules guy on, and rules guy Gene Steratore goes, well, if it's a rut created by the tire, he gets a drop. If it's just a tire track, he can't get a drop. And of course, it was just a tire track. And the ruling guy comes over and he goes,
how do you determine rut versus tire track?
I don't know. Well, you got to be trained for that. That's why you're a rules official, apparently. They ruled no drop. It's a tire track. Well, then he ends up hitting a pretty good shot anyways, and he gets up and down, and it didn't matter much anyway.
Yeah.
So, but...
Well, I saw the video of him and his caddy deciding on a shot where he hit it under a bush.
Uh-huh.
Did you see that one? Where he was basically had an unplayable shot. He was thinking about taking
Well, this is probably the hole, isn't it?
Well, no, because it was under a bush that was up against a fence.
Okay.
And so he's sitting there on his knees determining whether he can hit the ball, from his knees. And he would have only been able to hit the thing 15, 20 yards. So the whole thing was the video of the caddy going, but nothing good's going to come out of you trying to hit this. Just take your drop and get out in the fairway and let's try to get a 5 out of this.
Well, yeah, this one says it was because the ball was near a bush. So maybe it is the one you're talking about.
How'd they get a tire track under that bush?
No, that was different. No, I'm talking about the one where he took the 30 minutes to play. See,
yes.
These are two separate ones. The 30 minutes to play one is the one I think you're saying.
Got it. Yeah, he was over there. At least the video I was watching, it was a couple minutes of him and his caddy's just like, what are you doing here, man? Let's just don't try to hit this ball. Don't try to hit your hero shot here.
Well, you know what else his caddy did? And the PGA Tour has made a point of, they've talked about this. When Tour Commissioner did his little spiel, I think it was at the Players. Or maybe it was the tournament before. Did kind of the state of the game kind of a thing. And one thing they were talking about is the feedback they've gotten from fans and viewers is they like when they can hear more caddy-player conversation. Which, you got to really be into golf to like the caddy.
I like it.
I do too, because I'm into golf. I like it. I like listening to it. But the caddy for Lee, and they brought this up too, he said, your caddy, your caddy's got to know he's got to know his player, right? And there was a time late in the round where Minwoo Lee is standing over, getting ready to hit, and the caddy stops him. He goes, wait for that wind to go down. So he actually stopped, and like they even said in the booth, they said, You know what? You better know your player.
Sure.
And it takes to all of a sudden to call off a guy's, especially he's ready to pull the trigger. And what if he resets and hits a terrible shot? You know, but he did. He ended up hitting a good shot. But his caddy basically told him, let's let the wind die down here. Because a gust of wind had just come up. And, you know, I know for the people that don't play golf, you and I tend to play golf at a high level. I mean, you've had an experience that's not unlike a PGA Tour player when you shot that 73. Or 74. 74 over at Pheasant Acres, that it is such a precise game that a change in wind direction or speed of wind can change dramatically where your ball goes when you're playing at that level, especially to the difficulty of it. But so I don't know what to think. I'm a big Min Woo Lee guy. I do like him. He's from Australia. But the 30 minutes to play a hole is just getting to be a bit ridiculous.
A bit. I do wonder, you know, you've heard about the shot clock before in golf. They've talked about that.
Yes.
And they had that in the TGL thing, right? And I don't think you can have them go as fast as they do in TGL. They're intentionally trying to speed it up. But it does. I'm with you where I like to hear the back and forth with the caddies, and I want to hear some of that stuff, so I don't want to take that out.
Right.
But I also don't want to sit in front of my television for 5.5 hours, 6 hours to watch.
No, you got
right. So I do wonder if a shot clock. I don't know how you institute it, right? Like you got one in every hole, and how do you determine when that person's up and how long they have to shoot, right? Like I might be having a discussion with you. Who's out? Who's got to hit this first, right? Like,
yeah. Well, that also in some players, every player plays at a little bit different speed, and then if you punish one, they basically punish the whole group. They actually have a clock now where they will get warned. If they fall like a hole or a half a hole or a hole behind, a rules guy will come and say, you guys are on the clock. You got to pick up your speed. If you don't catch up to the group in front of you, you're going to be docked a stroke. And you don't do it just for one guy. You do it for everybody. So, like for me, when I play, and I play at a very high level, I'm pretty quick. It doesn't take me long. I get the yardage, I grab a club, I swing, and I hit. Other people would you consider yourself, I don't think you're slow, but you're a bit more deliberate than I am, I think. And I wouldn't call you a slow player, trust me. I'm not saying that.
I would say I'm definitely not as fast as you. I would say when I try to play fast, it affects my game.
Okay.
I think I'm a better player when I slow myself down. No, I don't go up and do practice swings.
No, right.
Like I'm not up there doing 6 practice swings before I go, but I'm looking at the yardage and deciding where I want to hit it.
Sure.
And like I said, I'm better mentally as a player when I'm slowing myself down a little bit.
But when you're with a group, so then let's say we're playing the third guy that's extremely deliberate. Then all of a sudden, do I get on the clock and get punished? It's like, I'm playing fast. It's the two clowns I'm with. They're not.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's the tough part of a shot clock would be difficult.
Well, I'm saying you do the shot clock for that individual player.
Okay.
Right? So the second it's determined your turn to shoot, you put up a minute on the clock, and you've got a minute to take your shot, and then when you're done, now officially it's my shot. I'm the farthest one out.
I like that.
They set the clock. I've got a minute to hit my shot, and I don't know what that time is. It wouldn't be a group shot clock.
No,
to
right?
finish
Okay,
the hole. It'd be an individual.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're doing a group shot clock with me, when I'm on my 8th, 9th shot on the hole, like it doesn't mean I'm playing slow. I just can't get the ball where I want it to go.
Yes.
Just the number of shots I'm taking is slowing me down. It's not that I'm slow
correct
and deliberate when I get to it.
That's a very good point, Tennessee, because there have been times you fist pumped after making a 10 once. So, I mean, they had those kinds of holes. Here's one. If we don't sign Rodgers and Pittsburgh does and starts the season 4-0, the calls will come pouring in on how we missed our opportunity. By the exact people who are JJ apologists right now. Make A-Rod purple is what this text meant. And that's all in capital letters. Common Farmer's much easier QB to like than the frowning, enigmatic, eye-rolling Rodgers. I get that.
I agree with that.
I agree with that, too. I'm not even saying
like when Favre played, we hated him because he was on the Packers and he was successful.
Correct.
But I don't think anyone really hated his personality.
No.
Whereas Rodgers, pre anything political, yeah, he's grumpy and he blames his teammates and he's arrogant and and loves the attention and wants to go on all the on the Pat McAfee show. Like all that stuff kind of existed before any political stuff.
At least for me, the objection to Rodgers that although his stats were fine and he still wasn't making plays when he needed to, I would love to have had him 5 years ago, but not now. And for me, I'm not convinced. He's donezo. I'm not convinced he has nothing. Is he as good as he was 5 years ago? He certainly hasn't shown that to this point. But I'm not ready to say he still doesn't have something left. I mean, you can't compare individual quarterbacks. I mean, Brady was really good into his mid-50s, right? Or mid-40s, right? Didn't he win a big game at 45 years old? Mm-hmm. Now, they're different quarterbacks, different mindsets. Everything's different teams, different time. Everything's different. But still, it's not as though you can't play the position of quarterback. It's been proven you can play at a pretty high level into your 40s. So I'm not convinced that, 5 years ago he was better, but I'm not convinced.
And this team as constructed, and I guess you could have said the same thing about the Jets before last year, mm-hmm. but this team as constructed is a very good spot for a quarterback to win now.
Hall of Fame QB, best receiver in the game, lethal defense.
Let's go. That's quarterback whisperer?
Yeah, it says let's go.
Just think when the quarterback whisperer gets a hold of a future Hall of Famer.
Well, that's it. And the
magic that can be made.
And they have a mutual respect for each other. How does Common like the idea of McCarthy beating out Rodgers in training camp and rightfully taking QB1? If he did, he does. Right? If they had an actual competition, I think Rodgers would frown upon that. I don't think he would.
No, he's not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go.
He's here to be the guy.
Yeah, and if he's not, he'll go elsewhere. And, that's why to me, it's a low-risk move, I think. I really do. I just think if he comes in, you'll know by the results on the field. My guess is all the players on the team are going to say the same thing, though. Just what an honor having Aaron on the team, a guy that's a future Hall of Famer, 4-time MVP, won a big game. This is going to, and whether they all believe it or not, publicly they're going to say it. And then if the games start and he's brilliant or really good, or at least he's helping the team to win games, everyone's going to be happy. It'll be the good ship lollipop. And then if it goes south, it'll be the Tana Fitzgerald. And if it does, the coach is not going to be afraid to bench him. And it doesn't matter if the quarterback's upset about it and his feelings are hurt. It's like, dude, you're not any good. You've been brutal. You threw 2 picks in the fourth quarter of the first game of the season and lost us the game. You were awful week 2. You were better week 3. You were bad week 4 and 5. We're 1-4. We're moving on. It was a nice try. We all thought it might work, but
he'll be on a short-term contract. So you just cut him, cut bait. By the way, speaking of performance on the field,
yes,
we've mentioned the Twins are down 9-0 in this game. What we haven't mentioned, because it's hard to follow when we're watching or when we're doing the show, Twins don't have a hit. They're being no hit through 6 innings.
Oh, really?
So it's bottom of the 6th inning. Martin Perez has a no hitter for the White Sox, and we're losing 9-0. Maybe I shouldn't say we. I don't know if I want to be affiliated with this team.
I'm going to go to the Lavelle Neal text that he sent to me. They will swing the sticks, Lavelle Neal III. The Twins will.
I always love that one.
Swing the sticks. Well, they'll swing, but they'll miss a lot. That's going to be the problem. So we got a no going, huh? Now.
It sounds like, though, he's at 93 pitches.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if I just saw a tweet that there's activity in the bullpen.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let me ask a controversial question as we get ready to turn it over to Dave Sinekin and Brett Blakemore. Would you be pulling for him to throw a no-hitter, or because it's against the Twins, you would want the Twins to break?
Because we're down 9-0, sure.
You see, that's me too. I'm all for it. At this point, what's the difference? I'd rather see the no-hitter, even if it's because we're not coming back to win this game at 9-0. I wouldn't think. Teneby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
It is so good to have you back. It really, truly
so
is.
Great to be back.
Well, I get that. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for listening. We do appreciate that. We'll talk to you again tomorrow at 12 noon. But stick around. Dave Sinekin and Brett Blakemore, they're next here on The Fan.
Adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Good night. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Minnesota!
Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Chicago's a tough guy town.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.